Hey everyone, my name is Sahara Brown. You can, I'm all over the YouTube channels and Facebook and wherever. Today I'm going to be doing some teachings. I opened up a new category onto my website, which will be linked to this video on the YouTube channel and also blogged. So you guys will receive this video along with everything else. Recently I did a video called Separate or Embrace. This video that I did, which you can find on my YouTube channel, which will be linked again, is about the individual person, who we are, the journey, the spiritual journey, the awakening, the consciousness. And what this recent video is trying to tell people is that the journey in itself is done by yourself. So today I thought it would be a great opportunity to expand this video a little bit and do some teachings so that everybody is on the same page. Um, so the separate and or embrace. So let's go into the consciousness awakening. The awakening is not really done on the collective. It's done personal. Um, the journey in itself is done by yourself because it is a self-discovery. It's just discovering who you were, who you are. Maybe it could be your past life, future life, whatever the case may be. The road is done by yourself and not there isn't any room for anybody else when you're going through your journey. Recently, I hear a lot of people's relationships are ending. Uh, this is okay. It may be hard, but when you reach to a certain type of consciousness level, you're finding yourself that you might not be attracted to that significant other anymore. This is quite common when you're in the awakening process and when you start digging through your subconsciousness and you're becoming and your road is becoming to be paved for you, you'll find that there's not much room for anybody else, and letting go is not easy to do. It's extremely hard to do. So when we separate, we live in a society where we're separated. But truly, that's an illusion because we can't really be united if we're still separated within ourselves. When we are asleep, we don't know what we're doing. Our consciousness, our minds are all over the place, and leaves room for other energies to come in and influence you into doing things that you wouldn't normally do. That's the separation between mind and heart. I was told once that your mind is supposed to be the servant of your heart, not the other way around. I know this sounds kind of strange, but I kind of believe in that philosophy because if our hearts and our minds were connected and coming to some kind of agreement, then we would be embracing ourselves of who we are as human beings and understanding that no matter what society tries to tell you about who you are, you yourself don't need anybody to tell you who you are. And this is where the journey becomes much more of an individual journey than it is a unification journey with the rest of the world, because you have outside influence telling everybody their history, telling everybody who they are, or where they're going, or where they should be at. Um, that's not how evolution works. Evolution takes time. The earth wasn't created in 7 days. Evolution is never ending. You'll always evolve, no matter if you are alive or if you are in the spirit world, you're constantly evolving. It's about building. It's about building a mental environment where it's you on this road and you dictate how this road is going to be. Because at the end of the day, you are left with the consequences of your own actions, and you're not responsible for anybody else's actions except for yourself. And so that comes with knowing yourself, know thyself. Um, and it's a long process to get to know yourself, because you have to dig through all the garbage that was put into you for lifetime, and sorting through what's true and what's not, um, what's the lies and what's the manipulations. It's quite, got to get your hands dirty before you can truly accept yourself, accept you for who you are. I know it took me years to accept who I am and not think of myself as a freak of nature. And that's where a lot of people I find today feel, sometimes they feel that freak of nature, that there's something going on and I'm not like everybody else. And that kind of makes you feel alone. That's another thing. People are afraid to be alone. You can't, because when you are alone, that's where you start to grow. Sometimes you have to learn how to be by yourself before you can be with anybody else. And so this great separation is the separation of ourselves, of our souls, of our spirits, of our hearts and minds, of our inner beauty, of everything that is sacred. That I find that a lot of people now are starting to find what is sacredness to them. What does it mean? Am I sacred? Um, what does that mean? It means that you're a human being. You are connected to all life. You are connected to every life forms, the grass, the sun, the universe, the stars, the fish, the water, everything. And that's what makes us unique, but also that's what makes us powerful. When we begin to embrace ourselves, that's of a different um, consciousness, because you're learning how to embrace every aspect of your being, all the essence that makes you who you are. And I know that everybody on this planet has some inner demons that they cannot change, or the pain that in the past that they cannot fix. That's something that everybody's burden. And there's no denying that we all have done something within our past or our past lives, or, you know, that we may have caused harm to others, or that we have caused such dramatic chaos in our lives as well as people around us. And that's something that we can't change. When we start to embrace ourselves, that's something that everyone has to learn how to live with. You just have to live with that. Not everything can be fixed, and you can't change everything because it's not supposed to be. Um, you can only do what you can do for the time that you have to make things right for the future. And so embracing yourself is embracing the darkest parts of yourself. Just like the moon can't survive without the sun cannot survive without the moon. You have day and then you have night. Neither can survive without each other. And so neither can we. We cannot survive any longer with our other half. Because as you see around the world, we are a dying race. And I know this is going to be like a shocker, but it shouldn't shock you. And that's the thing. That's reality. It's not even facts. It is a reality that we are a dying race because we are still separated from our essence of what makes us who we are as beings, as human beings. Our DNA's from the planet and from the stars and the planet. That's who we are. And embracing that knowledge and now in those essence is something that we have to learn how to do. But when we continue to separate ourselves, we create more chaos and more harm because it manifests into reality. It becomes physical. Everything that we do becomes physical. Everything that we don't do becomes physical. And that's something we have to live with. And sometimes we can't change the things that we've done. We just have to learn how to deal with it and take what we can to learn from it so we don't repeat it. It's not easy to embrace who we are because everything we've ever been told is a lie. It's not easy to embrace what we've done. Because that means we have to own our own responsibilities. That means we have to actually take responsibility for ourselves. I found it very hard for myself to embrace myself because I was not a very light person. I was extremely dark. Dark thoughts, dark heart, cold as you can call it. And then one day I woke up and I said, okay, I have a choice. I can live the life that I was living and have my own Armageddon, or I can change my reality and figure things out. There's nothing that I could do today to change what I've done in the past. There's nothing that I can do to change what happened. That's something that I myself have to learn to live with. And it's learning how to embrace the darkest parts of myself because that makes me who I am. That took me years and years to learn how to embrace myself because I found out that when I started fighting against myself, terrible things would happen around the world I live in the world I live in. And that's something that we all have to think about. Every time that we start to fight, who are we fighting with? Because everything is a reflection of our thoughts. Everything is mirrored back to us. So who are we fighting against? Ourselves? Or are we fighting against something else? That's not an easy question to answer. I couldn't even answer that for you. That's something that you'll have to figure it out on your own. I found out for myself that each time that I was fighting for something, I was fighting against myself. And therefore, every time I fought for something that I thought it was good with good intentions, it actually caused more harm and more fear and more chaos and more drama. So I decided to, okay, let's make an agreement with my darker half. I know it sounds crazy, right? You have to kind of come to an agreement with yourself. So when I started to embrace myself, everything started to wash away. Not so much of the pain, because that's something that is a different road of healing. But it is a bigger part of healing. Is when you can embrace everything of who you are, everything that you've done, all the mistakes that you've done, and own it. Own it. That's something that humanity cannot seem to concept even now, because I see it with their actions. They can't own their own mistakes and take responsibility. I know that I'm responsible because of the wars. I know I'm responsible of the negativity, because I can own that, because you have to understand it's energy. Energy, everything is energy. Everything we think, every time we think, we breathe, we feel, we cry, we laugh, it's energy. It goes out. Doesn't matter what we do. It's becoming aware of those energies and how it works that can determine the outcome for yourself and for the people around you and for the world that you want to live in, you know? So it's about taking that responsibility and own it. When I started owning my own demons and start blaming everybody else for something that I'm creating, that's when everything stopped. You can't find peace if you don't find peace within yourself. And that comes with embracing yourself of everything, because it's beautiful. I can say, yes, people ask me, and I know you'll see this on a few videos of mine. People ask me who I am. I can tell them that I'm this and I'm that, I'm a label. But that's not what I tell them, because that's not who I am. I tell them this: I am light and I am dark. I am conniving, I can manipulate, I am condescending, I am deceitful, I am spiteful, but at the same time, one second, sorry. At the same time, I am light, I am giving, I am forgiving, I have compassion, and I can embrace both, because both I see as beautiful. You can't, I hear a lot of people talk about eliminating the darkness. You can't. It's a waste of time, because this planet, she is both light. She is created from light and dark matter. There is nothing anybody can do to erase that, unless they try to just completely annihilate this planet, which you can't do, because we don't have that kind of power. That's something that's never going to leave. You can't have light without the dark. Neither of them can live without each other. It doesn't. It's not doable. What you need to do is learn how to balance. By embracing, you create balance. By embracing everything about yourself, everything, the whole thing, that creates a balance that no one can touch. And that brings about a universal understanding, that brings down a universal knowledge of knowing. Instead of believing, you know. And when you know who you are, no one can tell you anything about where you're from or where you're going, because they don't know that. They can't tell you your history, because they have not lived all of your lives. You understand? So when it becomes you have to make a choice. Do you want to live your life in separate of yourself? Or do you want to live a life in embracing all aspects of yourself that makes you beautiful? And it is a beautiful thing. The journey can be beautiful. A lot of people say that, the journey is easy and it's like bliss. I don't know what kind of journey they're on, because in reality, the journey is hell, because we have to go through everything that we've ever created and manifested. So think about that, because you can't have a true awakening if you can't own everything you've ever created, good with the bad, ugly with the beauty. That's just not that's impossible, to be awake and think everything is, rosy green and rainbows, when that's not the reality. That's just an illusion, a denial. So that causes separation with yourself. That causes other people to separate from themselves, because again, energy, everything is energy. And what you put out will manifest, either in your own life or someone else's or somewhere else. And we got to be mindful of everything that we do. So this little video is going to be a little bit short, I think. I want just to let you know, to bring about kind of an understanding between separate and embrace, because it is important to really get to know yourself, to understand that the journey itself is about yourself. And has much, I mean, like, you will meet people along your journey that will help you to move forward with your journey, but they're only there for a short time. They're not there to walk you through all of your journey, because that journey is an intimate journey between you, the creator, and Mother Earth. That's it. That's it. And I know that a lot of people have families. I have families too. I have a family too, but I am also on my own journey, and they're not on it because they can't be. And that's something that, I mean, they're with me, but they're not on the road. Everybody has their journey according to the lives that they lived. And every journey is different from anyone else's, because it goes by the experiences that you've lived. We can sit and talk about our journeys and come to a universal understanding, but at the same time, these journeys of self discovery and figuring out who you are, it has nothing to do with anybody else, because no one has ever lived your lives. And when the inner struggle comes between separate and or embrace, that is an inner struggle of yourself. It's breaking down those walls, those brick walls, and I know everybody knows what that is. um, and and seeing with eyes wide open of who you really are. And yes, it is scary. And yes, it is frightening, and you might be angry. But at the same time, it's okay, because it's you. Everything that we do reflects back to us. Everything, no matter what. And we got to be mindful of that. And so when you decide to really dig deep into your journey, I hope this video helps you to give you a better understanding of the journey itself. I can't tell you what your journey will be like, because I've never lived your lives. And I can't tell you where you're going in your journey, because that is none of my business. That is between you, the creator, and Mother Earth. That's it. I know there's a lot of people that I don't know what they're doing, to be honest with you. I think they try to guide people with good intentions, but at the same time, they're telling other people that where they're from, or they're from this place or that place, but no one knows that. Your journey is absolutely your own. And the more you understand your own journey, the better off you'll be. Taking time in your quiet space in your mind, and start creating a world for yourself. Because when you do that, you're teaching your children how to do the same, and you're teaching other people how to do the same. And at the same time, you start building a resistance of no tolerance, a mental environment where you will understand and become completely aware of what you're giving out, and what you're taking back, and what is being dished out to you. Being completely aware comes when you can embrace yourself, becoming truly balanced, and knowing that when you become truly balanced, and when you become absolutely in love with yourself, there is no room for you to ask questions anymore. You will no longer ask questions from the outside world anymore, because they can't give you the answers that you seek. Only you can answer yourself. Questions becomes knowing, and that is the most powerful universal knowledge that any human being and spiritual beings can ever have. And when you become this human being with great power, you want to dig your feet into that earth, and you want to stand strong, because it's not easy to be awake in these times. It's very easy to slip back into the sleeping because it's too hard. That's the challenge. That's the challenge with everybody, is staying awake and maintaining that balance always. And it gets easier in time sometimes. Sometimes you get unbalanced, but you have to learn how to catch yourself, because no one's going to be there to catch you. And when you become united with yourself, that's when you can unite with everybody else. Because you cannot create a universal consciousness if you're still separated from yourself. You cannot create a global unification if you're separated from yourself. Until you are in love with every aspect of yourself, you cannot really say that you love everybody else, because then you don't know what love is. Loving comes from yourself. You have to love every aspect, the darkness, the light, every aspect that makes you who you are as a beautiful human being. So that's all that I'm going to be talking about today. Um, I do these sometimes long videos, short videos in between, depends. But thank you for listening. And again, I will link all the websites and everything else at the end of this video, and I hope you like it. If you have any questions, please do ask. I love hearing from you and answering your questions. I will try to do a live on YouTube. I'm not sure yet. This will be uploaded on YouTube though. Um, Again, all my website, my Facebook and Google Plus and Twitter, everything will be linked up onto my YouTube channel as well as my website. And yes, I'm glad that I got a chance to explain this to you, and I hope that you take this video into a little bit of consideration of separate and embrace. And we are beautiful and we are powerful, and we have to learn to be empowered by ourselves and inspire. We can inspire ourselves to be greatness, to become greatness. And I'm not a great believer, I'm a thinker. I don't believe in anything. I know that's kind of weird coming from another human being, but I'll explain why that is in another video. But I do hope that you guys are starting on your journey, and be careful on your journey. And it's about self-exploration, self-discovery, and it's not easy, it's hard, and just don't give up. Um, Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust in the road that you're on. The road will not steer you wrong, even though sometimes you might hit those bumps and twists and turns. Everything is for a reason. Everything is about learning about yourself, no matter what it is. And that's about it. Have a great night, and God bless you all, and much love and light. See you next time.